I mean, I remember at a very young age wanting tattoos. I got my first tattoo at 19. I remember seeing the first guy that I was friends with that had one. It was initials, M something, and a 13. That was his number, and it was his dad's initials because he lost his dad. It was this big on his ankle, and there's so much meaning behind that. That's why tattooing is so unique. There are very few forms of artistic expression that can get that. And to have my form of idea come to life in this manner, how would I be able to do that? You know, I can do it with art pieces I have around here, but I'm the only one that fucking sees them. You know, years and years ago, I set out, I'm gonna have a sleeve. I had no idea what that looked like, but I said I was gonna do it. For me, that's how this fully fucking came about. I didn't know how or when or who. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the connection. I didn't know one tattoo artist when I said I was gonna have a sleeve. The original was done 4 years ago. We did an event with SANIDERM, and Brent Noble from Australia came in. Some people they just think it's already done. For me, it feels unfinished. And I've been trying to figure this out for years now. I've wanted it finished since the day he completed it. I wanted it finished. And it's just been this journey. And so now, I actually was deciding between two artists, one that worked on my older brother. The way Ramon came into the entire picture was my older brother finished a half sleeve on his bicep, and Ramon had done that in the Bay Area. And this last December, he was back in San Francisco and just had this itch. He just wanted to finish his sleeve, and Ramon was booked out. And he just said, man, call me every day and ask if I have a cancellation. And so, being who my brother is, called every single day and went to the shop every single day on his run. Do you have a cancellation? Do you have a cancellation? So he got him in the day after Christmas. I mean, Ramon works 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and they smashed out the rest of his sleeve in like a full day, which was crazy. When I saw his finished piece, at that point I was like, oh man, this guy's really good. People would walk up to my brother in the Bay Area and be like, oh, that's a Ramon piece. BJ had said, hey, send me a picture of your sleeve, Ramon wants to see it. And so when I sent him that picture, Ramon's response was, man, if he ever wants that finished, I would love to finish that. And I was like, dude, I'm down. Ramon reached out and said, hey man, I'm coming into town. Would you want me to work on you? I can finish this. I can totally match the style. What are your thoughts? What do you want? The only piece of information I gave Ramon was, I want this beautiful woman to represent life and beauty, finding beauty in life no matter what, because I have life on here, but I have so much that doesn't represent this physical life. And I said an animal headdress. I didn't direct him into the type of animal. When he came up with this, I was like, done. He just knew. And it was so funny because I actually didn't see any of it until we walked into the studio. Hell yeah. Fucking amazing, dude. I saw the design for the first time today, and he fucking nailed it. Nailed it. What he took from words that I said, it was beautiful. And I mean, I immediately saw it and was like, yep, that's it. So we're gonna do the full inner bicep tomorrow. bring it all together. I can't wait to see this all develop. Yeah, I'm excited. Tired, on fire. It's been a long day. And I'll still never forget the first brushstroke that Brad did. The first. And he did it so fucking fast. And he did so much so fast. He's like, no turning back. I'm like, is that why you did that fast? He's like, yep, you can't stop now. I was super nervous, like to get this big thing put on me. I had one small tattoo on my leg. I have a couple on my chest, and it wasn't anything made. I didn't have anything that was exposed. Being a suit, you know, that was a big step. I had a 25-year career in corporate world. And when you work in a corporate environment and space, you dress and you fit the part. And this was almost like a big fuck you to corporate of, you can't hire me back. It was very driven by advancement and money, and which stems from athletics and competition and winning, and it's all great. But I just lived my life for that. And there was a transition in my life where I stopped wanting to do things for everybody else. I have a saying that I have on my personal business cards that a friend of mine coined for myself, and you can't fake fascinating. Growing up in Utah, everybody's very much cookie cutter, and I was always trying to find a way to stand out. My upbringing was very, generic, I guess you could say. I was raised by two parents, and they were teachers, and I went to a normal high school, and surrounded by the religion and the culture that we have, tattoos were frowned upon, and you were not something of positive society, I guess. And for myself, I didn't do any drugs until I was 35 years old. As I got older, I just learned that you can be your own person and you can make your own decisions, and that doesn't change who you are inside. And so when I hit close to 40, I wanted a big change in my life, and I knew I was depressed. I was on Ambien, I was taking Adderall, and I was introduced to a podcast, and they were talking about MDMA and how it was curing PTSD, curing depression in 3 sessions or less. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for like a full dose session, but they were talking about microdosing, and so I did a 30-day microdose, and it changed my life. I started seeking a better life. That's the first, is just you seek it and then it will find you. I started seeking information, and months before that, I was trying to find things. Things weren't sticking. And that was the first thing that I heard that was different than everybody says, yeah, go for runs, exercise. I do that all the time. I needed something different. I needed something that would totally reset this in a way. And for me, it really was the magic of the medicine. Not that you get this miraculous, aha, beaming change of life and holy shit, I'm a millionaire tomorrow and I've got this $1 million idea and I'm gonna go do it. That's not what it is. It's you get the information of who you are, what you want to be, and you get an idea of how to go become that. And so that was my intro into, I guess you could say, psychedelics. I wouldn't consider MDMA a psychedelic, but for me, it has developed into coming into a career that I truly have dreamt of. I truly wrote down, I want to be in this type of position, and it happened. When I came to SANIDERM, one of the things that I wanted from this company was our TAP program. That was a necessity. Tattoo appreciation program. It's an appreciation for tattooing. It was in my job offer to SANIDERM, not their offer to me. My offer to them was, this will be in my contract. And that became something for everybody. It's a program designed to save money for our employees so they will go get tattooed and we can appreciate those artists. we will put X amount of money aside for each individual employee that they can use to go get a tattoo. And it wasn't because I wanted one, it was because more than anything, I thought we should be promoting great art. But part of that caveat is you have to film it. You have to let the company know why and what you're doing, and let's video it. It's not always going to be this big production, but we want the information, we want the connection, we want to take your art and your artist and display it to the world. And who better to do it than us? We heal so many tattoos every fucking day, millions over the last 11 years. We should be showing that off. We should be showing that off. I want more content from the people that we actually service, because I want to hear more stories about people like this. There's a guy that I met randomly at a party and saw his piece and was drawn to it, asked him about it. He's like, holy shit, man, yeah, I got SANIDERM on it right now. I'm like, yeah, that's why, dude, it's great, I see that, but I want to know your story. He's like, man, dude, the story is super just personal to me. And I was like, oh, you don't have to tell me. He's like, no, I'd love to tell you because you saw it. My sister was murdered along with her 2 kids. And so this is to represent them. And you immediately are taken back because there's such a powerful story there that's represented by this beautiful image. And it's taking that yuckiness and making something beautiful out of it. And that's very difficult to do. That's what I want more of in our community, that we get to promote art and how it comes to life. And I think every artist already understands that, but to us, muggles that aren't artistic by any means, and we just get to live vicariously through that, this is my way of showing almost a respect. There's not one single thing in my home that you could buy at Target. Maybe that lamp. But there's no artistic piece in here that you could actually find anywhere else. They are all 100% unique, and that's how tattooing is. And so now this has become a collection of art. To say that I have a piece by Brad DOULT, people know what that means. People know who Breakneck Brad is. For me, tattooing has become about that. It's that one thing that just distinguishes you or separates you from everybody else. When I see old pictures of clean skin, that is almost like, that doesn't even look normal. It looks a little off that I don't have the tattoos. This tattoo tells a story that is interesting to me because when the tattoo was done, there wasn't a story behind it. It wasn't until a year later where the story was developed. And it was truly, it wasn't planned. And at first he had a mountain range, just a regular like Rocky Mountain range at the bottom. And I said, actually, I would love if you would change that to a desert landscape and do Monument Valley. It means a lot to me. My mom has a big painting of Monument Valley, and that was the only thing that we changed. So at the very bottom is Monument Valley, and there's a flower, a skull, a live elk, and then a goddess with a full moon in the waterfall flowing over it. And so for me, that entire story came true. A year later, for my birthday, I go out on a solo camping trip for the first time. I am going to do a hero's journey of psilocybin by myself out in the desert. And the way that that day developed was crazy because I went to the area of Monument Valley, consumed what would you consider the flower of earth, which to so many people is the magic mushroom. I actually had an antelope skull that I took with me, and long story short there, I ended up ruining the skull and it was destroyed in the fire. The eyes of this woman are in pure white to represent a goddess. That day I started my journey on Lower Calf Creek Falls, and I had this just a lovely day in the desert and saw tons of arches and things that I had never seen before. And that night was when I did my journey and had my experience under the full moon. When the full moon came out that night, it was shocking to me because of how red it was. I'd never seen a moon rise like the sun. At the time, the mushrooms were kicking in and I was howling or bugling at the moon, and had a conversation with who I would say would be my grandmother, and who has passed years and years and years ago. That set me on a different path, which so many journeys do for so many people. And then what's crazy is how all of that transpired in the dates of, fast forward now 4 years, and it is legitimately to the day. It's too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence. Coincidence is random. And when it continually happens, it's no longer random. God, I'm gonna get choked up. That weekend for me changed my life. I am overly joyed, overly grateful for the way it turned out from start to finish. The evolution of this entire sleeve, man, it's so much of what art is, and it's a transition, and it's a buildup, and it's a development. I can't speak enough about how happy I am. It feels great to have it done. It is weird seeing myself with the sleeve. It's really weird to wake up and you have a fucking sleeve. That's really weird. When you haven't had one for 4 years. It's the close of a book, man. It's the close of a chapter and the start of a new one, and it's just been a magical experience to get it all done in the way that it came together. The delays, the roadblocks, the obstacles, then to the completion, and man, I will tell you, I have had a dozen people stop me and just been like, where did you get that? What took the longest? And I'm like, the part from this to the part from this. It was 4 fucking years. This took 1 day, this took 2 days. It is Monday afternoon. We got tattooed Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday was, there was a lot of swelling. After Wednesday's session, the swelling wasn't that bad. I think the initial shock of getting tattooed was fine, but coming back, when we removed this derm, he had a tattoo right over that, which I think added to the swelling after Thursday. I did have a reaction. I mean, at one point, my elbow was this big. You know, sitting in that chair for 7 hours one day and 8 hours another day. I mean, it's just like spraining your ankle and then going out and playing the next day and spraining it again, and you're like, what the fuck? It's an injury. The skin is an organ. You blast it like that, it's in shock. I didn't follow my own word of drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated those first couple days. You just get out of it. So you get in the zone of sitting there like this for so many hours, you forget a lot of things. But I'm pretty fortunate to understand an alternative healing method to, you know, if the derm doesn't work. And I think a lot of artists that we talk to, they have people that they can't use derms, and we've been talking about using an alternative healing method. There's a lot of other ideas out there. I purchased a basketball shooter's neoprene sleeve. Keep it, you know, moist, and just like any other wound, you want to keep it from drying out and scabbing, and especially with a tattoo, the scabbing's the worst. With the sleeve, it's breathable, being able to use the balms that we have and the soaps that we have. Being very proactive about it, I think, has allowed my arm to heal pretty quickly still at 4 days. 1 week out since we started the project. I've still been wearing this since the weekend, pretty much daily at night, continually taking it off, keeping it moist. Most of the peeling is gone. Still a little bit, but you can see the reaction area is healed quite a bit. Not too bad to be a week out with a reaction. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks from start day, so 21 days will be tomorrow. Where I had the reaction is healed, but you just have that pink, almost like soft underbelly skin. It's gonna take more than just a few weeks. It's gonna take a couple months to fully settle in. I have it up in here. It's scaly, and it won't always look like that. You know, these really dark black areas, just over time, it smooths out. It is healed, I would say, 90%. At class this morning, this guy just kept looking at me. It'd been a few weeks since I seen him, and he didn't know why I'd been gone. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And he's like, did you always have a sleeve? And I was like, no, I just finished it. I went out with some friends. They've known me for years, and we went and hung out for hours, and not one person said something. So they didn't notice it, which was actually a good thing, that it blends so well that it actually, you don't know if I had it or not. And so I think that just goes to Ramon and the design of it. I mean, he just crushed it in his style and his quality, and being able to match Brad's style, the backside of this and how it blends and morphs the images together, the hair, the lightning, the tree. I love this style of art, especially when it all comes together with two different artists. You hear of collaborations and putting pieces together, and sometimes it doesn't work because one artist, you can just tell there's two different pieces. And it goes to the quality of Ramon. Brad was amazing. It just goes again to Ramon and his ability to match quality for quality and style for style and ink for ink. To match that together is so impressive. Magic happens for a reason, man. I am a true believer in that. That's one thing that through this whole journey, again, it's a journey. People come in and out of our lives for a reason. And man, the way that the artists have come into my life to create this magical piece that I have is, it's important to me.